Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Guess who just dropped in? It's Carla Bannum from The Voice. Unbeknownst to me, we booked two best friends today. Both
did.
yeah. And they have the both of them. Man, I want to see you two singing together more often. I'd love to. I'll buy that album for sure. Did you know each other before The Voice by chance? Speaking of
No,
pun
we did
intended.
not. We did not. We actually met each other after blind auditions even happened. So we didn't even really talk to each other much before the auditions at all. But we instantly clicked. And then, us landing on the same team definitely helped propel things. And then being battle partners and rehearsing together 24/7. We got super close. I flew out to California so we could watch our battle episode together and everything. So yeah, we are besties now.
Oh man, that's so cool. Gina, so she's all right then, you're saying.
She's so
Your friend.
amazing, perfect, beautiful, talented. Love her.
I want to tell everyone, if you just joined us in your car or wherever, don't go to work, hang out and listen to the rest of the interview. We're talking to two of the voice artists that are just so incredible, and just making their way through The Voice and blowing away the competition. It's on the show, Gina Miles and Carla Bannum. That's a kind of a cool name. Carla, I've never ever heard that. Where does that come from?
So my full name is actually Mikala, Mikala, and it is a Hawaiian name, I believe. My parents love like Hawaiian culture and the names and everything. I am not Hawaiian at all, but they love the names and the language. So yeah, that's where my name comes from. But I chopped off the first syllable because Kala was kind of just a family and friends nickname growing up, and it's something that I really identify with. So I figured if I'm going to introduce myself to the country, might as well go with a name that I identify with most closely. So yeah.
It's beautiful, and it now it makes sense. Yeah, it is. Hometown. Am I saying this right? Kissimmee?
Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
Close.
Oh, how did you say it?
Kissimmee. Yep. Kissimmee.
Okay, it's not so much this. It's okay. Florida. It's in Florida. Never heard of it. I wonder if I've ever driven through. I've driven through Florida. And then Windermere, Florida is that where you're at right now?
Yes, that's where I am right now. They're not too far from each other, but more often than not, I'll just say I'm from Orlando. And usually, unless you're from Orlando, you don't know Windermere or Kissimmee. But Disney is kind of like all around Kissimmee. So if you're familiar with Disney, it's most likely in Kissimmee.
Now, Gina, same question for you, Carla. What happens? What if one of you win The Voice? How would you react? What would that look like? Being best friends.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would be excited either way.
Has there ever been a tie, I wonder? Because I think you could both make it. That'd be nice to see both of you up there.
Yeah.
Doesn't it say, though, already that you're on The Voice, that you are The Voice? I mean, individually, for all the great artists that are on there. Doesn't that already say a lot?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's incredibly validating, because you could go your entire life having friends and family telling you that you're good at singing or that you should go for it. But to actually have not only the producers, but coaches tell you that you have something that's worth exploring, it's very, very exciting.
Oh, it's got to be. Are you enjoying the moment? Are you, so often I think, especially when you're trying to make it and you're driving and you're grinding and you're writing and you're trying to get in front of the right people in the music business and get seen and get heard, and then you're on The Voice and you've got these great coaches and all these millions of viewers around the country and around the world. Do you stop and go, all right, do you appreciate it where you're at, or is it just as
I mean, you try to, ever since day one, even through our first stage rehearsal, people were telling us, like, take it all in, don't let it just fly by you. And it's something that you have to consciously remind yourself of every single day. because it can easily all feel like a dream and like none of it is actually happening. So yeah, it's something that we have to remind ourselves of on the daily, to just take it all in and appreciate every moment.
What do you do to, take a moment and appreciate yourself for and what have accomplished?
I think just stop and breathe. We have so many different things going on, like obviously related to the show directly, but in our personal lives and things that we have to consider moving on afterwards, like where do we go from here? There's so many things that you're constantly thinking about that I think viewers maybe don't know, just as people watching the show. As artists on the show, you're constantly thinking about what your next move is and how you can best capitalize on the opportunity. So I think the most important thing is to really just stop and breathe and make a conscious decision to remind yourself how grateful you are and how unbelievably cool the opportunity is.
Mhm. How do you as a artist from season 23 of The Voice on NBC, how do you take that once it's all over, whether or not you are crowned The Voice winner, or if you just, when it's all over and you go back to what you were doing before, which is making music and creating and writing and all those things. How do you use and spin this opportunity off? I mean, what's your plan? What do you hope will happen after The Voice?
Well, I think it looks very different depending on what you were doing beforehand. There are some people who have been pursuing music full time their entire lives, or at least up until the show. Whereas for a person like me, that wasn't my reality. I was working at a public relations agency, and that was, what I studied in college and what I was most likely going to continue doing if it hadn't been for this opportunity. And so now this has sort of been like a once in a lifetime opportunity, not only for the show, but having this platform means that now I have the chance to possibly actually give it a go. So for me, that means thinking about original music and all the things that go with releasing original music, and marketing that and performing at live venues for the first time, which is something that I've never done before. So it really depends on the kind of person you are and at what stage of your music career you were at beforehand. But for me, it feels like I'm just kind of getting started.
Yeah. Keep that attitude, keep that perspective, if I could request. And I'd also like to, just say to you and Gina, don't give up, because I've been interviewing artists from The Voice in season 16, and I follow all of them, and I'm watching Mendeleev was on one of the first, and Mendeleev is opening for Ben Harper this summer. Ava Lynn Thurston, the girl named Tom, all of those people have been on the show, and they all have different, The Voice has given them opportunities in different ways, and it's really what you make of it. And it's also going to come to you, everybody differently, right? It's never the same path for anyone. It's not going to be the same path for Gina or for you, but don't give up, because I see this is who you both are. You're really, your music is beautiful. Your voices, your writing. I would just plead with you, don't ever give up. You're meant to do this. And, and you'll get there. So whatever way, you're already there. And that's what I also talk to a lot of musicians, and a lot of them that have been around forever, well-known musicians, say to me, you keep thinking about what's next. I need to get bigger, but you're already there. You're doing what you love. You're singing, and you have an audience, and you're doing what gets you up out of the bed in the morning. Like Gina, wants to write and create. It's her passion. I'm sure that's the same for you. So anyway, that's my little advice for what it's worth, that you didn't ask for. We're going to take a really quick break. We're talking with two voice artists, Kala Banham and Gina Miles. Miles. Yeah. So we're going to come right back. NBC's The Voice, season 23. NBC Mondays and Tuesdays, 8-7 Central. The coaches this year, Chance the Rapper, Kelly Clarkson, Niall Horan, Blake Shelton, and hosted by Carson Daly. Yeah, come